Rebecca was sitting on the hard floor of their small house. She pulled her legs close to her body. Her stomach was making noise because she was hungry, but she was used to being hungry now. Rebecca was 22 years old, but she was still in high school. This was not because she was not smart. It was because her life was very hard. Her mother died 5 years ago when she was sick. After that, her stepfather, Mr. Philip, was very mean to her. Mr. Philip never smiled at Rebecca. He never called her name in a nice way. He thought she was just a stupid girl. Rebecca's stepsister Stella was 2 years older than her. Stella was always telling Rebecca that nobody wanted her. One morning, Mr. Philip called Rebecca to his room. His voice was loud and angry. "Rebecca," he shouted, "come here right now." Rebecca ran to him quickly. She was scared of what he might do. He gave her a brown envelope with money inside. "This money is for your school fees," he said. "Take it to school today and pay. If you lose this money, don't come back to this house. I will punish you very badly." Rebecca's hands were shaking as she took the envelope. Her heart was beating very fast. "Listen to me, mister," Philip said. "Don't think you will go to university. I don't have money to waste on a stupid girl like you. When you finish high school, you will sell tomatoes at the market." "Yes, sir," Rebecca said quietly. "Get out of here," he told her. When Rebecca was leaving the room, Stella was standing at the door. Stella started laughing at her. "Look at this old woman going to school," Stella said. 22 years old and still wearing a school uniform. How shameful." Rebecca didn't say anything. She just held the money envelope tight and walked away. It was very hot outside as Rebecca walked on the dusty road to school. Her shoes had holes in them, so small stones came inside as she walked. But she didn't mind. She was used to it. When she got near the market, she saw an old man sitting by the road. He looked very weak and tired. His clothes were torn and dirty. His eyes looked empty because he was so hungry. "Please, my daughter," the old man said in a weak voice. "I have not eaten food since yesterday. Do you have any food for me?" Rebecca looked at him and felt very sad for him. "I don't have food, Papa," she said. "I'm sorry." She started to walk past him, but something made her stop. She turned around and looked at him again. He looked like someone who had lost everything in his life. Rebecca walked back to the old man. "Papa, what happened to you?" she asked nicely. The man looked at her with tired eyes. "I used to be a farmer," he said. "I had a small farm where I grew food. But one day, fire came and burned everything. I lost all my crops and my house. Since then, I have been begging people for food and money. I sleep under bridges or in empty buildings." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. "If I had a house, I would let you stay with me," she said. "But I don't have one. I live with my stepfather. My mother died 5 years ago. My life has been very hard too." The man looked at her kindly. "What is your name, my daughter?" "My name is Rebecca," she said. "My name is Mr. George," the old man said. "Do you come here every day?" "Sometimes," Rebecca said. She looked at the brown envelope in her bag. She could hear Mr. Philip's angry voice in her head. "If you lose this money, don't come back." Rebecca opened her bag and took out the envelope. She looked at Mr. George's sad face. She knew what she had to do. Without thinking more, Rebecca put the envelope in Mr. George's hands. "Take this, Papa," she said. "It's all I have." Mr. George opened the envelope and saw all the money inside. He was very surprised. "No, my daughter," he said quickly. "This is too much money." "Please take it, Papa," Rebecca said. "I want you to have it." Tears came down the old man's face. "God bless you, Rebecca," he said. His voice was shaking. "I hope good things will happen to you because you are so kind." Rebecca smiled a little. "I will try to bring you food sometimes," she said. "Thank you, my child," Mr. George said. He held the envelope like it was made of gold. Rebecca got up and started walking to school again. But each step felt harder than before. She had just given away all her school money. She didn't know what she would tell Mr. Philip. When she got to her school, she couldn't go inside. Instead, she sat under a big tree and put her face in her hands. She started crying. Her future looked very dark now. But in her heart, she felt peaceful. She had done something good, even though it would cause her trouble. Rebecca walked home very slowly. She was scared about what would happen. When she got to the house, Mr. Philip was waiting for her. "Where is the receipt from school?" he asked. He didn't even say hello to her. Rebecca stood still. Her lips were shaking. I lost the money," she whispered. There was silence. Then Mr. Phillip started shouting very loudly. "You what? You lost it?" Rebecca nodded her head slowly. "I knew it," he screamed. "You gave my money to some man, didn't you? You are a useless daughter of a stupid woman." Before Rebecca could speak, he picked up a stick and hit her hard on her back and arms. Rebecca screamed, but she didn't fight back. "You will not eat any food for 2 days," he shouted. "Do you think money grows on trees?" Rebecca fell on the ground. She covered her face while he kept hitting her. When he got tired, he stopped and pointed at her. "And worst of all," he said with angry eyes, "you will go to the Forbidden River and get water for me. I don't care if something bad happens to you there." Rebecca looked up in shock. "Papa, please don't make me go there," she begged. Tears were falling from her eyes. "That place is dangerous. People say scary things live there." "Shut up," he yelled. "You must go there. You need to learn your lesson." That night, Rebecca didn't eat anything. Her back hurt very much and her heart was broken. But when morning came, she took the water container and walked to the Forbidden River. Some people in the village said strange creatures lived near that river. Everyone was afraid to go there, but Rebecca had no choice. She had to obey Mr. Phillip. When she got to the river, it was very quiet and cold. The trees around the river looked like they were watching her. Rebecca prayed in her heart as she bent down to get the water. Nothing bad happened. She was surprised that she came back home safely. Mr. Phillip was shocked when he saw her. "You came back?" he asked. His eyes looked suspicious. Rebecca nodded quietly. He shook his head. "I know why," he said. "You must be a witch. That's why you came back alive. No normal girl can survive that place." Rebecca didn't say anything. She quietly put down the water and went to her corner of the house. The next day, Rebecca left the house early and ran back to the place where she met Mr. George. He was already sitting on the same stone. When he saw her sad face, he looked worried.
"My daughter, what happened to you? You look very upset."
Rebecca sat next to him. Her eyes were full of tears. "I told my stepfather that I lost the money," she said softly. "He didn't believe me. He beat me very badly and called me terrible names. Then he sent me to the Forbidden River to get water. He said he didn't care if I die there." Mr. George made fists with his hands. He was very angry. "What kind of heartless man is that?" he asked. "I wish I had a house. I would tell you to pack your things and come live with me." Rebecca wiped her tears. "It's okay, Papa. I just wanted to see you today." Mr. George looked at her with love. "Thank you again for yesterday," he said. "You don't know how much you helped me. That money you gave me saved my life." Rebecca smiled a little bit. "You know what I think?" Mr. George said. "I think you will marry a very rich man one day." Rebecca looked surprised. "I hope so, Papa, but I'm not ready to get married yet. I want to finish school first." The old man nodded. "You are very smart, my daughter. And you are beautiful too. That stepfather of yours is just jealous because you are prettier than his own daughter." Rebecca laughed a little and her face turned red. "There's my girl," Mr. George said with a big smile. "See, I made you happy." "Yes, Papa, thank you. Listen, Rebecca, this world has many people with bad hearts, but God always sees people with good hearts. Your life will change for the better. I don't know when, but I believe it will happen." The next morning, Mr. Phillip was walking on a small road to get wood for cooking. The sun was just coming up. A tall man in simple clothes walked toward him from the other direction. "Good morning," the man said. He stopped in front of Mr. Phillip. Mr. Phillip frowned. "What do you want?" he asked. He was already annoyed. "I came to warn you," the man said calmly. "Leave Rebecca alone. That girl has done nothing wrong to you. You are punishing her for no good reason." Mr. Phillip's eyes got very wide with anger. "What did you just say?" he shouted. "How dare you talk to me like that? She is my stepdaughter." "I warned you," the man said again. His voice was still calm. "Stay away from her. I am her guardian angel. If you don't stop treating her badly." Mr. Phillip interrupted him. "What will happen? Tell me, what will you do to me?" The man's eyes became dark and scary. If you don't stop hurting her, you will disappear forever." Then the man turned around and walked away. He disappeared down the path. Mr. Phillips stood there shaking with anger. "Stupid people," he said. "He thinks he can threaten me because of that foolish girl?" He ran back home. His face was red with anger. When he got to the house, he threw the door open hard. Rebecca was sweeping the yard. "You?" he shouted. "You think I don't know what you're planning?" Rebecca turned around. She was scared. "Papa, I don't know what you mean." Before she could finish talking, he hit her hard with his stick. "Shameless girl," he yelled. "You send men to threaten me? You think you can control me now?" Rebecca cried out in pain. "I didn't send anyone, Papa. I don't know what you're talking about." He wouldn't listen to her. He kept beating her until she fell down and couldn't move. That evening, when everyone was sleeping, Rebecca quietly left the house. She walked to the place where her mother was buried. She got on her knees next to the grave and cried very hard. "Mama," she whispered. She put her hand on the cold stone. "Why did you leave me? I am suffering so much. They don't like me. They beat me and treat me like I'm nothing. Mama, I miss you so much. I wish you were here to help me. I don't know how much longer I can live like this." The wind blew softly through the trees. Rebecca sat there for a long time, crying and talking to her mother's grave. That was the only place where she felt safe. When she walked back home, her eyes were red and her legs felt weak. She prayed quietly. "God, please help me. Please." When she got to the house, Stella was sitting outside. She was making her fingernails look nice and chewing gum. She looked at Rebecca with disgust. "You daughter of a ghost," Stella said in a mean way. "You went out to sleep with men again, didn't you?" Rebecca wiped her tears and tried to walk past Stella. "I'm talking to you," Stella shouted. Rebecca stopped. "I didn't go to meet any man. I went to visit my mother's grave." "You're lying," Stella said. "Anyway, go to the kitchen. My boyfriend is coming here soon. We want to eat pounded yam with vegetable soup. Make it hot and good." Rebecca sighed. "I'm very tired, Stella. I haven't eaten any food today." Stella stood up and pointed her long fingernail at Rebecca's face. "You have no choice," she shouted, "or I will tell my father to throw you out of this house tonight. Then you can go live with your dead mother in the grave." Rebecca's heart felt like it was breaking. She wanted to scream, but no words came out. She turned around and walked slowly to the kitchen. Tears were falling down her face. Her legs felt weak. Her back still hurt from the morning beating. The pain made her shake, but she had no choice. If she said no, Stella would tell Mr. Philip, and he would throw her out with no mercy. Rebecca leaned against the wall for a moment. She was breathing hard. She wiped her face, then slowly walked to wash her hands. She looked at the yam on the floor. Her eyes were burning with tears. "Where will I get the strength to do this?" she said to herself. But she knew nobody would help her. Her arms were shaking, but she picked up the knife and started peeling the yam, one piece at a time. Her fingers felt very heavy, but she kept going. After she cleaned the yam pieces, she put them in a pot with water. She lit the fire to cook them. The smoke made her cough, and her eyes hurt. When the yam was soft, she brought the big bowl and the stick used for pounding. Her hands were shaking, but she kept working. She stood over the yam and started pounding it. Each hit sounded like her broken heart. She had to stop every few minutes to catch her breath. Her forehead was wet with sweat. Her eyes were full of tears. By the time she finished making the food, she felt like falling down. But deep inside her heart, a small voice said, "Don't give up. You are stronger than this. Something good will happen soon." That small voice was the only thing keeping her alive. Rebecca had just finished cooking when Stella came into the kitchen. She was walking like a queen. "My boyfriend will be here soon," Stella said proudly. "I'm going to the shop to buy drinks for him. Make sure you give him the food before I come back. He is very hungry and I don't want him to wait. Do you hear me?" Rebecca just nodded and kept putting the food on a plate. Stella left the house, singing a love song. A few minutes later, someone knocked on the door. Rebecca opened it and saw a tall man wearing jeans and a tight shirt. "Good evening," Rebecca said quietly. "Yeah," the man said. He was looking at her from head to toe. "Are you Stella's sister?" Rebecca didn't explain anything. She just moved to the side and let him come in. She put the hot food on the small table and turned to leave. But the man stopped her. "Wait," he said. "You are very beautiful." Rebecca blinked her eyes. "What?" "You heard me," the man said. He was leaning on the chair. "You are more beautiful than Stella. Has anyone ever told you that?" Rebecca looked away. She felt uncomfortable. "Thank you, sir." "Now, don't thank me. I'm just telling you the truth. If I had seen you first, I would never have looked at your sister. She forces herself on me. But you are special. Be my girlfriend. I don't really like Stella. Come with me to the city. I have money. I can make your life better." Rebecca turned slowly and looked at him. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "You have money?" she asked. "Yes, a lot of money," he said proudly. "Just say yes, and you will never suffer again." Rebecca crossed her arms and tilted her head. "Really? Then why do you look like this?" She frowned. "If you really have money, why does your hair look like you combed it with a broken comb? And your shirt, is this how rich people dress? You are sweating like you ran here from very far away." The man blinked. He was surprised. "What? What do you mean?" "I mean," Rebecca continued, "use your dirty money to take care of yourself first before you try to take care of someone else." He tried to laugh, but Rebecca wasn't finished. "You are not even handsome. You look like someone who fought with sleep and lost, and your shoes are making more noise than you are." The man's smile went away. His face turned red because he was embarrassed. "I was just trying to help a poor village girl like you," he said angrily. "Help?" Rebecca laughed softly. "You want to help me by cheating on your girlfriend? You think I will fall for your lies because of money? You must think I'm very stupid." The man stood up. His hands were shaking. "You will be sorry for this." "No," Rebecca said calmly. "I'm already sorry I opened the door for you." The man left angrily. Stella was still at the shop when her phone rang. She smiled when she saw her boyfriend's name. "Hello, baby," she said sweetly, but his voice sounded cold and far away. "Stella, your sister is like a snake," he said. "Rebecca tried to seduce me. She said you are not good enough for me. She begged me to leave you and take her to the city instead. She even touched me. I was shocked." "What? Rebecca? That stupid girl!" Stella shouted so loud that people on the road looked at her. "Are you sure?" "Of course, I'm sure. I told her I wasn't interested, but she kept begging. I had to leave before I got angry." Stella's face was burning with anger. "She will hear from me!" She ended the call and ran home, pushing people out of her way. As soon as she got to the house, she put the drinks on the table and shouted, "Papa, Papa, come and hear what that useless girl did." Mr. Philip came out of his room. "What is it now?" "Your stepdaughter Rebecca tried to steal my boyfriend." Stella screamed. "She told him I'm not good enough and begged him to take her to the city." "Can you believe it? That dirty village girl?" Mr. Philip's face changed. His eyes got very wide with anger.
She did what?
Just then, Rebecca came out of the kitchen.
"Papa, I didn't—"
She tried to speak, but he slapped her very hard. "Shut up, you shameless child," he shouted. "You want to bring shame to my house? You want to steal your sister's boyfriend? How useless can you be?" Rebecca held her face where he hit her. "Papa, I promise I didn't do anything. He was the one who—" Before she could finish, he slapped her again. She almost fell down. "You're lying," Mr. Philip shouted. "You think I will believe a cheap girl like you instead of a man? You must be cursed, you daughter of a worthless woman." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears.
"Papa, I swear on my mama's grave I didn't—"
"Don't say that woman's name in this house," he shouted. "You are just like her, good for nothing." Rebecca stood there frozen. Her heart was breaking into pieces. She looked at Stella, hoping she would help her. But Stella just smiled meanly and crossed her arms. "Mister," Philip pointed at Rebecca, "you will not eat any food in this house for 2 days, and if I see you talking to any man again, even a crazy man, I will take off all your clothes and throw you out myself." Rebecca turned slowly and walked back to the kitchen. Her tears were falling silently. She sat in the corner and hugged her knees. Her whole body was shaking with sadness and anger. How could he believe such a lie? How could he say such hurtful things? She had done nothing wrong. She thought about her mother again. If only she were still alive. If only someone in the world really loved her. Her stomach was making hungry noises, but she didn't care about food anymore. What hurt the most was that her own family hated her for no reason. The next day, Rebecca left the house early. She had no food in her stomach and no happiness on her face. Her body was weak, but her heart was even weaker. She walked slowly to the place where Mr. George sat every day. When she got there, he was already sitting on the same stone. He was holding a walking stick and making soft whistling sounds. When he saw her, he stood up quickly. "My daughter, come here. You look sad again." Rebecca put down her bag and sat next to him. Her eyes were red and her lips were dry. "Papa," she said quietly, "I am so tired of everything." "Tired?" he asked. He looked worried. "Yes, I feel like giving up. My stepfather beat me again last night for something I didn't do. He said I tried to steal Stella's boyfriend. But it's not true. I'm tired. I want to run away." Mr. George's face changed. His eyes became sharp with anger. "That man," he said, hitting his hands together, "God will send his angels to beat him up." Rebecca looked at him with surprise and wiped her tears. "They will beat him so hard, he will cry like a baby," Mr. George continued. "He will roll on the ground asking for help, but nobody will help him. Even his shadow will run away from him." Rebecca covered her mouth and laughed.
Papa, you are so funny.
Mr. George smiled. "I may be old, but I don't joke when I talk about evil people. My daughter, you are too kind. One day, they will be sorry for all the bad things they did to you. Just wait and see." He stopped talking and looked around. Then he moved closer to her. "My daughter, I have something important to tell you." "What is it, Papa?" "A good person has helped me," he said. His face looked bright and happy. "Someone who saw me here gave me a job as a security guard in the city, and they also gave me a small house to live in." Rebecca's eyes got very wide with joy.
"Really, Papa? That's wonderful news."
"Yes," he said. "I will leave tomorrow morning." Rebecca's smile slowly went away. "So, you are leaving me too?" No, he said, touching her hand gently. "You are not alone. Listen, I want you to come with me." Rebecca shook her head sadly. "Papa, I can't. If I leave now, they will say I ran away with a man. They will never let me come back." Mr. George nodded slowly. "I understand, but here." He reached into his pocket and took out a small piece of folded paper. "This is the address of where I will be living. Keep it safe. Don't let them see it. If anything happens, or if you change your mind, just come to me. My house will be your house too." Rebecca took the paper with shaking hands. She knew that this kind old man might be her only hope for a better life. As she watched him getting ready to leave for his new life, she wondered if she would ever be brave enough to follow him. Rebecca took the paper with trembling hands. "Thank you, Papa," she whispered. "I'll miss you so much." Tears streamed down her face. "You're the only real family I have left. How will I manage without you?" Mr. George gently wiped away her tears. "Don't cry, my child. You are stronger than you know. Remember, God is always watching over you. No matter what happens, your suffering won't last forever." She nodded and stood up. "Let me go buy some food for you before I leave." "Thank you, my daughter," he said with a warm smile. As soon as Rebecca left, Mr. George pulled out a small phone from his pocket and dialed a number. When someone answered, he spoke just one sentence. "Do it. Make him regret everything." Then he ended the call and hid the phone away. Minutes later, Rebecca returned carrying hot rice and stew in a takeaway container. "Here, Papa," she said with a smile. "Eat this before it gets cold." "Thank you," he said, opening the food and taking his first bite. "You cook like an angel." Rebecca smiled. "It's from a food vendor." He laughed. "Even better. My daughter, you will marry a very handsome and wealthy man, believe me." Rebecca blushed. "Amen, Papa." "Not just any man," he continued, chewing happily. "A man who will treat you like a queen. You will wear beautiful clothes, live in a big house, and walk like a king's daughter." Rebecca laughed. "Papa, you're just being sweet to me." "No," he said seriously. "I'm telling you what I can see in your future. Just wait and see." Meanwhile, back at the house, Mr. Philip was heading to his farm. He carried his machete, whistling and complaining about how Rebecca was ruining his life. As he passed under a large palm tree near the village shrine, something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, a masquerade jumped out and began beating him with a stick. Before he could even shout, another one appeared from the bushes. Then a third one dropped down from the tree. They said nothing. They just kept beating him mercilessly. Left, right, center. The blows kept coming. He screamed, "Please, who are you? What have I done?" But they gave no answer. They just continued the brutal beating. He tried to run, but they chased after him. He fell into the mud, rolled on the ground, and crawled like a tortoise trying to escape. When they finally disappeared back into the bush, Mr. Philip stood up, covered in dust and shame. He grabbed his machete and ran back toward the village, limping and crying like a child. On his way, he saw his friend Andrew resting under a mango tree. "Philip, what happened to you?" Andrew asked, shocked by his appearance. Mr. Philip bent over, breathing heavily. "Masquerades. They beat me. 3 of them. Came from nowhere." But Andrew laughed loudly, holding his stomach. "Serves you right," he said. "You're too wicked. Maybe it's the ghost of that poor girl's mother teaching you a lesson. Who knows?" Mr. Philip gasped. "Ghost?" "Yes," Andrew shouted. "Just leave that girl alone, or next time the spirits won't use sticks, they'll use iron rods. Get out of my sight." Mr. Philip cried and ran home. When he reached the compound, he collapsed near the door and started sobbing. "Rebecca's mother, you will not know peace. Tell your ghost friends to leave me alone." 2 days later, the house was quiet. Rebecca had finished sweeping the compound. Her body was still weak from hunger, but she had grown used to it. As she entered the house to rest, Mr. Philip followed her inside and locked the door behind him. Rebecca turned around slowly. The way he looked at her made her stomach turn. "What is it, Papa?" she asked, her voice shaking. He leaned against the wall and smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "So your dead mother's ghost sent those masquerades to beat me, eh?" he said with a bitter laugh. "She warned me not to hit you again. So fine, I won't hit you." Rebecca stayed silent, but her hands began to shake. "Instead," he said, stepping closer, "I will use you in another way. Let me get you pregnant. Then I'll throw you out of this house. You'll become a poor single mother with no help and no future. Nobody will want you. That's the punishment you deserve." Rebecca froze. "What did you just say?" she asked, her voice now filled with anger and fear. He moved closer, licking his lips. "Don't shout. Nobody will hear you. You're a useless girl. Let me destroy you once and for all." As he reached for her, something powerful rose up from deep within Rebecca's heart. A strength she didn't know she possessed. A fire that had been buried under years of pain, tears, and silence. Without thinking, Rebecca clenched her fist and punched him hard in the face. Mr. Philip screamed, stumbled backward, and hit the floor. "You hit me! Help! Somebody help me! This girl wants to kill me!" But Rebecca didn't wait. She ran into the small room, grabbed her bag and the paper with Mr. George's address, and rushed out of the house. She didn't even look back. She ran as fast as her legs could carry her through the village paths, past the market, straight to the small bus station. She had never been to the city before. She didn't know what to expect, but she had the address and, more importantly, she had her freedom. She climbed into a bus heading to the city. The engine started, and as the vehicle moved, tears ran down her cheeks. Not tears of pain, but tears of strength. "I'm free," she whispered. She didn't know where life would take her next, but she knew she would never return to that house again. Back at home, Mr. Philip was rolling on the ground, holding his face and wailing like a baby. "She punched me! She almost killed me!" Stella came running into the house. "What happened?" she asked. "That useless girl Rebecca," he shouted. "She came with some foolish jobless men. They beat me up. Look at my face." Stella looked around. "Where are the men?" "They ran away after she escaped," he said quickly, lying through his teeth. "They beat me and left me here. This girl is possessed. She wants to destroy me." Stella was shaking with anger. "We must report her. Let's go to the chief or the police." Mr. Philip sat up and wiped his fake tears. "No," he said. "It's not worth it. Reporting her won't change anything." Stella frowned. "So what do we do?" He looked around like someone plotting evil. Then he said with a voice full of hatred, "If that girl ever steps foot in this house again, I will kill her. I swear on what's left of my life." Stella gasped. "Papa!" I don't care, he shouted. She has brought shame to me, shame to this house. If she comes back, that will be the end of her. Stella didn't say anything. She just stared at her father, now truly scared of the kind of man he had become. Meanwhile, in the city, the bus dropped Rebecca at a small park. Everything was new. The cars, the buildings, the noise, and the fast-walking people. She was scared, but determined. She brought out the paper and found the address Mr. George had given her. She asked someone for directions, and after some time, she reached a small but neat compound. She knocked. Mr. George opened the door, and his face lit up like a lamp. "My daughter!" he cried and pulled her into a warm hug. "You came!" Rebecca burst into tears. "Papa, I had to. He tried to." She broke down crying. He held her close like a father. "No more," he said. "You are safe now. Nobody will ever hurt you again." He led her inside the small room. It was simple but clean. "This is your home now," he said. Rebecca looked around and smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Papa. Thank you for saving me." He smiled back. Rebecca sat alone in the small room. It was peaceful. The ceiling fan turned slowly, and a sweet breeze entered through the small window. She had just finished folding her clothes into a drawer Mr. George had given her. Suddenly, the door flew open. Standing there was a tall and very handsome young man. He looked like someone straight out of a movie. Clean haircut, expensive cologne, stylish shirt, and confident eyes. Rebecca froze where she sat on the bed, unsure what to say. The young man stepped into the room, frowning. "What are you doing here?" he asked in a sharp voice. Rebecca stood up politely. "Good afternoon, sir," she said softly. "My father is not around. He went out. I'm his daughter." The man looked at her, confused. "Your father?" he repeated. "Who is your father?" "Mr. George," Rebecca replied. The man laughed, but it wasn't a funny laugh. It was full of surprise and annoyance. "You mean the gatekeeper?" Rebecca nodded slowly. The man folded his arms. "So the poor gatekeeper I employed now has a total stranger living inside my house without my permission. Wow." Rebecca's heart skipped. "Sir, I am not a stranger," she said, trying to explain. "I just told you, I am his daughter." "Shut up," the man snapped. "How dare you speak when I'm talking? Do I look like your equal?" Rebecca's lips tightened. She didn't like the way he talked, but she kept quiet. "This is my house," he continued. "Your so-called father has no right to bring a stranger here. When he comes back, tell him I want to see him immediately. He must explain to me why he left his duty post and why he turned my house into a village guest room." He turned to leave but paused at the door. "Don't touch anything in this house," he said without looking back. "I'm watching everything." Then he walked out and slammed the door behind him. Rebecca stood there, shaking. She slowly sat back on the bed, her heart beating fast. Her hands were cold. "What kind of man is this?" she whispered to herself. She looked at the door, then looked around the room. "He's rude," she said. "Very rude, but he's also very handsome." She shook her head quickly. "Rebecca, focus. His attitude is terrible. Is this how all rich men behave in the city? So arrogant, so bitter. Maybe his girlfriend broke up with him. Or maybe someone stole his phone. But why take out all the anger on me?" She lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. How can someone look so good, smell so expensive, dress so fine, and still have a heart like pepper? She closed her eyes for a moment. "Whatever. Let my father come back first. He will explain everything. I'm not going anywhere." She let out a deep sigh. If this is city life, then it's already full of drama. But I didn't come here to fight. I came here to find peace. I just hope this man won't be my next problem. Mr. George returned to the compound just before sunset. He looked tired but smiled when he saw Rebecca waiting for him near the small gate. "Papa!" She ran to him. "My daughter," he said warmly. "Are you okay?" Rebecca took a deep breath. "No, Papa. Something happened while you were gone." She quickly told him everything. The handsome man who entered the room, how he shouted at her, and how he accused her of being a stranger. Mr. George frowned. "That's strange," he said. "Let me go and talk to my boss, Kennedy. Maybe there's a misunderstanding." He walked off quickly, and Rebecca stayed behind in the small room, nervously waiting. Meanwhile, in the big sitting room of the main house, Kennedy, the young man from earlier, was drinking a cold bottle of water when Mr. George entered. "Good evening, sir," Mr. George said respectfully. "I came to speak to you about my daughter." Kennedy dropped his bottle hard on the table. "Your daughter? Oh, so now you're bringing strangers into my house and calling them your daughter. Who knows what else you've been hiding? Maybe you've been stealing from me, too." Mr. George was shocked. "Stealing? Sir, I've never stolen anything in my life. I came here peacefully to talk about my daughter." Kennedy stood up angrily and shouted, "I will have you arrested. You are a thief and a liar." Just then, Rebecca rushed in. "You must be stupid to think I will be scared of you," she shouted, standing tall. Kennedy looked stunned. "How dare you insult my father and lie about him," Rebecca continued. "Call the police. You think you're the only powerful person in this city? Let me tell you something. I know people, wealthy people. If you try anything, if you dare to touch my father, I will deal with you in a way you've never seen before. Try me." Kennedy blinked, then suddenly burst into laughter. Rebecca paused. "What's funny?" Then Mr. George started laughing too. Rebecca looked between the two of them, completely confused. "Papa, what's going on? Why are you laughing with this wicked man?" Mr. George wiped his eyes. "My daughter. Meet Kennedy, my son." Rebecca's eyes widened. "You're what? Papa, this is not a good time to joke." "I'm not joking," Mr. George said. "Kennedy is my son, my blood, the owner of this house. The man you just shouted at is my only child." Rebecca's mouth hung open. Kennedy stepped forward with a small smile. "I've heard so much about you, Rebecca." Rebecca turned to Mr. George. "What is going on?" Mr. George sat down and spoke gently. "My daughter, months ago, Kennedy was supposed to marry a girl, a very beautiful city girl. But one day, she left him for another man. No reason, just heartbreak." Kennedy nodded slowly, his eyes now softer. "I almost lost myself. I was depressed. I stopped trusting women. I even thought of ending my life." Rebecca gasped and looked at him. "What?" "Yes," Mr. George added. "I begged him. I told him there are still good girls in the world. But he said no. He didn't believe in love anymore. So, I made a decision. I disguised myself as a poor gatekeeper, left the main house, and began looking for a good girl." Rebecca was speechless. "That's when I found you," Mr. George said warmly. "You gave your school fees to a hungry man. You took beatings and insults and still remained kind. You are the perfect woman for my son. You are gold. I love you so much, my daughter." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't speak. She just stood there, stunned, as everything settled in her mind. Kennedy then walked closer and knelt on one knee. Rebecca's eyes went even wider. "Kennedy? What are you doing?" He brought out a small ring box. "Rebecca, I love you. From the moment I saw you, something in my heart moved. But it was more than that." He smiled. "Do you remember those times you would talk with Papa, laugh with him, cry with him, sit beside him?" Rebecca nodded slowly. "Sometimes I was on the phone with Papa, and I was listening," he confessed. "I heard you say how much you missed your mother, how kind you were, how brave you were. I didn't know you, but I already felt like I did." Rebecca gasped. "You were listening?" "Yes," Kennedy said. "And when I saw you with my own eyes, I knew you were the one. You're not just beautiful. You have a heart of gold. Marry me, Rebecca. Let me love you. Let me protect you." Rebecca's voice trembled. I don't even know what to say," she whispered. Kennedy looked into her eyes. "Say yes." She smiled through her tears. "I love you too," she said softly. "I can't lie. The moment you walked into the room, I felt something. It was magical." Kennedy stood up and hugged her tightly. "You're so beautiful," he whispered. "You are an angel." Rebecca smiled and rested her head on his chest. "And you are my answered prayer." Mr. George clapped his hands and shouted, "Yes, love is sweet. Somebody bring wine. Let's celebrate." They all laughed together, and for the first time in her life, Rebecca felt safe, happy, and truly loved. 2 weeks later, The day everyone in the city talked about finally came: Rebecca and Kennedy's wedding. The event was like something out of a dream. The hall was decorated with white and gold curtains. Flowers filled the air with sweet scent, and the sound of love songs danced through the loudspeakers. Guests came in expensive clothes. Photographers clicked cameras. It was as if a royal family was celebrating. Rebecca looked like an angel. Her white wedding gown sparkled, and her smile could melt any heart. As she walked down the aisle, holding Mr. George's arm, the whole room stood up in admiration. Kennedy was waiting in front, dressed in a sharp black suit, smiling like a man who had just found the key to heaven. When Rebecca reached him, he whispered, "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "And you're my miracle," she whispered back. They exchanged vows, rings, and promised to love each other forever. The crowd clapped. Mr. George cried tears of joy. Kennedy lifted Rebecca and kissed her in front of everyone. The hall exploded in cheers. Rebecca had finally found peace, love, and family. But far away, in the small village, Mr. Philip sat on a wooden bench outside his house, staring at the dusty ground with fire in his eyes. He had just received the news that Rebecca, the girl he once called useless, had married a rich man in the city. "No," he screamed, standing up. "This cannot happen. That girl must go and be with her dead mother. Let her follow her mother to the grave." Stella, now a few weeks pregnant, was sitting outside, chewing roasted corn. "Papa," she said, "I know I never liked Rebecca, but I don't think we should wish her death." "Shut up, you fool," Mr. Philip barked. "Look at your life, pregnant without a husband. When will your own wedding happen? Just sit there and eat your corn in shame." Stella's face fell. "You were supposed to marry that handsome boy from the next village?" he shouted, pointing at her. "But no, you were busy playing big girl, chasing after sugar daddies, painting your nails and swinging your waist like a peacock. Now see your stomach, big like a yam, but no father for your child." Stella looked down, embarrassed. Mr. Philip began to pace. "She stole my daughter's glory," he shouted. "That marriage was supposed to be yours. She came here and destroyed everything." He picked up his cap and tied it tightly on his head. "Where are you going, Papa?" Stella asked. He turned, his face filled with wicked fire. "I'm going to the native doctor's shrine," he said. "This time she will see. I will deal with her. Her husband will hate her. She'll be thrown out like a dog. She'll crawl back here and beg me." "Papa, no, please," Stella said softly, now truly afraid. Mr. Philip shouted again, "That foolish daughter of a foolish mother. I must teach her a lesson." And he stormed off, heading toward the thick forest path that led to the most feared native doctor in the village. As Mr. Philip walked, villagers peeked at him from their windows and whispered. "That's Rebecca's stepfather," one said. "He's going to the shrine," another whispered. "He can't believe that poor girl is now married to a billionaire." But no one stopped him, because sometimes evil thoughts destroy themselves. Mr. Philip marched quickly through the bush path toward the shrine. His eyes were red with anger, his mind full of wicked plans. "That Rebecca must suffer," he muttered. "She must lose everything. She can't be happy while I sit here like a fool." But the deeper he went into the forest, the stranger things got. The sky suddenly turned dark. A cold wind started to blow. The leaves swirled around him like they were warning him to stop. Then boom! A loud thunder cracked across the sky. Before he could take 5 more steps, flash! Lightning struck a tree beside him, and he fell down, screaming. He tried to get up, but then flash again. This time, it hit him directly. He screamed one last time before falling flat on the ground. Just like that, Mr. Philip was gone. The evil in his heart had come back for him. Back in the village, Stella was sitting outside, enjoying a ripe mango, when a small boy came running. "Stella! Stella!" he shouted. "What is it?" she asked, standing up quickly. "Your father is dead. Thunder struck him near the shrine." Stella dropped the mango. "What?" She ran inside and collapsed on the floor, crying. "Papa, why? Why were you so wicked? Why did you hate her so much? Look at where it led you." Villagers gathered around, shaking their heads. "Evil never wins," an old woman said quietly. Meanwhile, in the city, Rebecca was in the kitchen cooking jollof rice when Mr. George walked in, smiling. "My daughter," he called. Rebecca turned around. "Papa, have you heard the news?" "Yes. "Oh," he said, removing his slippers. "Your stepfather is gone. Thunder gave him a hot slap and sent him to meet your mother." Rebecca smiled and shook her head. "Papa, you're too funny." "No be joke," Mr. George laughed. "That's what happens when someone tries to fight a child of God." Then he gave her a small smile. "But let me tell you something." Rebecca raised her eyebrows. "Papa, what again?" "I was the one who sent that man to warn your stepfather in the village. And those 3 masquerades that flogged him that day, I arranged them too." Rebecca burst into laughter. "Papa, are you serious?" "Yes. Oh, I was angry. That foolish man was beating you anyhow. I couldn't just sit and watch. That's not right." Rebecca shook her head, still laughing. "Papa, you're something else." Then she went quiet for a moment. "Papa, I have something to tell you." Mr. George looked at her. "What is it?" She smiled and gently touched her stomach. "Papa, I'm pregnant." His eyes widened. "Are you serious?" She nodded. "Yes, Papa. I told Kennedy yesterday." Mr. George jumped up from the chair and started dancing. I'm going to be a grandfather. Thank you, Jesus." Rebecca laughed and clapped for him. "I can't wait to carry my grandchild," he said, still dancing. "I will sing lullabies every night." 9 months later, Rebecca gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. She had her mother's kind eyes and Kennedy's bright smile. Everyone was filled with joy. Kennedy kissed Rebecca's forehead. "Thank you, my queen. You gave me everything I've ever wanted." Mr. George held the baby in his arms and said, "My grandbaby, you're already more beautiful than the stars." They named her Happiness because that's what she brought into their lives. From that day on, there were no more tears, no more pain, just love, laughter, and the sweet sound of a happy family. Dear friends, what lesson did you learn from this emotional story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share with friends, and hit that subscribe button. And remember to turn on notifications so you never miss our next story. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed. See you soon.